Hi, it's Everett. Everett's Watercolors, and this is Simply Drawing with Everett. It's 7:30 p.m. and here I am live. Broadcasting live to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and later on into Instagram. And we're in my studio tonight with my wife Gloria,
Welcome.
and she'll be monitoring the broadcast, also the chat room. The chat room's live, so if you have comments or questions, put them on the chat room, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And even after the broadcast, you can add comments to the bottom of the video, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about drawing windows. And drawing windows is easy sometimes, but I want to give you some pointers on how I do it, and give you some good artistic pointers on how to do a better job on drawing windows. So let me go to my overhead camera and let me get started. Okay, well, everybody knows from from the front of the house, there's plenty of windows to look at. And what I did is I got this brochure from a local hardware store. You can go into the painting section, and they usually have tons of these pamphlets of outdoor houses inside and so forth. So you can get plenty of references. And that's the first tip I have, is to have a variety of references. You can get something like this. You can have photographs that you've taken in different places. Uh, but reference photographs are very important. Now here's a sample here of some references I have that I pulled off my computer that I have here in the studio. And these are different kinds of window shapes and so forth. And here's some other ones. So I have lots of references for windows. And that's very important to have a good reference. The other thing is observation. When you're out there driving around or walking around in your neighborhood, or when you're taking a trip, look around and look at different kinds of structures. Look at the shapes of the windows. And if you have your drawing sketch pad with you, make some quick sketches. And that's what we're going to do tonight. And so let's take a couple ideas here. I'm going to get just a basic. The number 4B pencil is fine. I'll just draw a basic outline. We'll draw a box. So a window will have a rectangular shape. I'm going to draw another one over here at the same time. Right, make a similar box here, right next to it. And I'll make a third one just so we have plenty to work with here, just to start out with. So you start out with a general shape of what a window looks like, and then you can also, now the configuration of windows are very, very different. You'll find some they've got their division line right in the middle, pretty typical. So they all basically look the same. But you also find some that have a division of their panels. You'll find some that have just two panels or two panes, and over here you'll find some that have different. That's just a basic shape of a window. But what I like to do next is I also like to let's say I put something inside on this one here. So these two together, I would say let me draw a curtain shape inside the window. And then I would take my, let's say, if I was looking at the window from the outside, I probably would see the inside of the house would be darker. So I'd have the shading here, or the shadow from the inside of the building. Okay. Now, if I was going to draw another window right next to it with the same, then I'd make a little, maybe a small change. Let's say I would have maybe a curtain on this side, and then maybe I would change the shape of the curtain over here and make it like it's hanging down straight. So what I'm looking for here is variety. Even though you have the same window side by side, you can look for a little difference. So if you're drawing or even painting, you want to have a variety of shapes. Even though it's the same shape window, you can make very minor changes to make them different, side by side. And let me darken it up just a little bit more. I'll use my blender here. Okay. So here's the idea. If you have two window shapes the same and they're both configurations the same with windows with curtains, make one of them different. Make one of them, even though it's a slight change, there's a variety or difference of shapes you're looking at. And that's the important thing about, let's say, an artistic point of view or an artistic point there, is that two shapes side by side, make one different, make something different. And even though you had the two windows side by side, you could also make the windows. We can make this window here. We won't put the curtain on this one. We'll just say it's a division. And I can just say we have the window is open. Say it's in the summertime or a warmer day. Not today, not in the wintertime, but say we have the window open. Then we can show here with the shading. We can say here with the shading that this window is open, and the up side you got the window panes here showing. So that's the same shape of the window. That now we're indicating that there's a difference in this shape here with the shading. This window is open, and this over here, this is the window panes. This is an open window looking inside the building or inside the room. Okay. So that's one shape. Another shape I like to do, you'll see several, if you're looking around at buildings, you'll see several shapes like this. They have different configurations. Let's take the one here. It's basically, let's try this one here. It's a square. It has two little side vents to it. And then it may have a circular area up here. You may have some configuration like that. And what you just follow you can just follow the sketch. There's usually a window pane here, and then there may be window panes that even separate that. And even the side vents will have small windows or small panels. And even the one up here, the one up the top, will have a little change. So you may find a window that's got this kind of configuration. Now, to separate the window pane from the actual structure, then you make those slants make those marks a little wider. Okay, so now you have a window now with all those panels in there. Now by observation, by looking at a photograph or looking at something you're watching or you're drawing, then you draw that shape down. Okay. Now another interesting one I like to do is you get a window here with the shutters on it. I like here's one here with the shutters open, and here's one with one half open over here. Good example here. So that shape there would be. Let's start with the drawing. you start with your box. And there we'd have the center division of the main part. Then you might have window panes here inside. And then on the outside, you're going to have a shutter. So the configuration there would be a window with eight panes, and then you'd have two side shutters on the side. Now, how you would draw that? We can also add a little bit more interest here. You could add a little shape to the top of that, a little more design. And over here, there's usually a center rib here in the paint. Then you would just draw some lines indicating individual parts of the shutter. So there you would have a window with the panels, and then you'd have the little shutter here with the little lines in it to show the separate pieces here. Okay, now once you get your structure down, then you could play around with the shading. You know, you can go in and do maybe the light's coming from a certain direction. You want to have, let's say the light was coming in from left to right. Then this section here may be in shadow. This might be, and then part of your window might be shaded off also. So what you'd have, then you think about your shading. You'd have a shading here with the light coming from this direction. The light coming from this direction, this might be in shadow, and then this would be a little shadow on your window, and then this shadow, this part of the window would be in light. This part of the window would be in light. So there's the shading effect that you can play with. You know, the one I like to really play with is the one that, let's take the three windows again. I'm going to tell you three shapes. I'm drawing three rectangular shapes. Now, right here, if I knew they were lined up, 1, 2, 3, you'll notice here in this photograph here, there's two together and then there's one separate right here. I like that. See, this is a nice variation right here. 1, 2, then one separate. So that would move it off, and it's a little bit further apart. So it'd be over here maybe. And it's a little bit larger. So here the difference is that we have, there's three windows alike, but you have two windows here close together, and this is a little more separation. A little more separation. Again, a variation. Variation and separation. Now we can go ahead and build the, let's say we can also add these little shutters on the side to add interest. Maybe these are just for decoration. Some shutters are on a house just for decoration. They don't work as a shutter. They're just on the side of the windows for decoration purposes. And let's say, for the sake of shading, these are darker than the window itself. Darker color or darker value. So what I'm showing you tonight is different configurations of a window. You don't always want to draw it the same way each time. I recommend you try a variation. Take a standard window shape and then add things to it to make it look a little different. put your own little concept of what you like to, how you like to draw it, and what you like to add to it. Let's say this is just a large window, and we have, say we have curtains down here. And what I'm going to show here is the curtain here is different. And the one over here this has a curtain on the side, so the section in the middle is going to be shaded. That's the shadow on the inside of the window. This one, the curtain is closed, so it's just the color of the curtain. And this one over here would be it's only partially opened, just partially open. So let's shade this one in. Let's just use the blender a little bit, blend that in. Blend in the shutter, or the decorate. It's just decorations. Okay, now we can put maybe a little border around this a little bit. Maybe this has a little windowsill. And this particular one here, what we can do is add something else. We can add a little balcony out here with a little window box on this one, and then we can put some flowers out here. So we can take the same one. Now I want to darken this one up. I'm going to use my ink pen here. This is a waterproof ink pen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the outline of the window and really give this a little more emphasis. So I'm using ink now to define the window. These are curtains I have on this one. These are decorative awning or shutters, decorative shutters, I'm sorry. And this one over here is entirely different. We have the same configuration of the window, but we have a different look. This one has a little window box on the outside. With some flowers and so forth. Decorate it. Okay, we put that back. And let's go ahead and let me put some more definition on this. Spruce these up just a little bit more. Okay, so here's a window configuration. They're all the same, basically window configuration, but this one say has has a window partially open. We have the two curtains on the side, partially open or halfway open. This one, the curtain is closed, so you don't see anything inside. And over here is just a different configuration of the curtain. There's one partially open, the other one is fully open. And then we have a little window box down here with some things in it. So just the fact that I've done 3 or 4 different configurations here, you start to understand that windows don't always have to be the same. And once you find a window shape, you can always make changes to it. You're not restricted about what you have there. You can look around and use. There's a wonderful examples here. The kind of windows I look for. Here's a window with shutters on the side. Nice configuration. Here's one with a window box on the bottom. Here's one with the shutters partially open. Nice shadow pattern. Here's one with a little bit of greenery around the window. So you can find all kinds of window sizes out on your vacation, or looking around your neighborhood, or look on the internet. Just go in there and just type in windows. You'll see hundreds and hundreds. Okay. And also looking from the inside out is also, if I was on the inside of the house, if I was standing inside looking out the window, then I might have I'll take this one right here. Let's say I might have a landscape back here. I might have some trees showing through this window here. A little bit of ground. So I may be looking, if I'm looking out the window, then the sky and everything and so forth, you can see the silhouette of the. So it depends on which way you're looking. This up here, I'm interpreting, we're looking from the outside looking in, and you see just a dark background. Here, this may be a window where you're looking out, and you might see the silhouette of the landscape, trees and ground, maybe the sky, or whatever's out there. So you can make another viewpoint of looking outside the window. So there's 2 ways to look at it. You're looking outside the window, or you're looking into the window. Looking from the outside looking in, or looking from the inside looking out. That's another way of looking at a window. So those variations, I think by observation, the thing I'm trying to stress here is that when you draw windows in a drawing, or if you're doing a painting exercise, make your windows variable. Even though they're the same shapes, same sizes and everything, you can make changes to them that will make them more interesting just by changing something about the characteristic. Make them a different angle, different lighting, and so forth. Yeah. And this one here, this is actually the street view. I'd have an angle here, an angle of this one here. So if you're looking at a street, you'd have a different view. A viewpoint from where you're looking outside in, inside looking out, or if you're looking down the street, you would see things in perspective. Some of the windows will look smaller than others looking down the street. Yeah. That's a pretty simple one there. Okay, I got... Okay, so I went over, let me go over review now. You can find just by going to a hardware store, you can get a couple booklets on windows and so forth just by going to the paint stop. Just going to the paint area of the hardware store. And then going outside in your neighborhood, walk around, take a quick snapshots or take a quick sketch and do some drawings, and that would be a good exercise. One of the things that I did, I guess 5 or 6 years ago, and I'll come back and talk about that. I'll talk about that. Here's one I did just recently. This is a walk-in sketch that I do in my walk-in sketch journal. There's a building down here on the corner that's under construction, but they still have a window here in the front. Those windows I found to be a very interesting composition of a large building. Okay? And so what I did was, over here, I did a pencil sketch of that window. I just did I didn't want to draw the building. I didn't want to draw anything around it. I didn't care about the landscape. I just wanted the window configuration. Just just so I could also show it in this demonstration today, is that I did a pencil sketch, and then I went back with the ink and I outlined the window shapes. The window shapes. This was an on location sketch, standing at the street corner, drawing what I saw. I saw this and I drew this. So that's a good way of documenting a window configuration. Maybe for the first time you've seen something. You make a sketch of it before you forget what it looks like. Okay. All right, let's go back to my main camera. All right. Well, that's another good exercise. I would recommend that to you to get your sketchbook and drawings, and look at your own windows in your own house as you're sitting in your chair anywhere in your house, looking through the kitchen window or looking from the dining room. You can draw the window right there you're looking through. Draw that configuration. Get the window panes down, what its shapes are. And if you're looking out, you might even want to draw a little bit of what you see outside, just a format. If you're out there making travels and so forth, you can either memorize what you saw or take a quick snapshot. Or if you have a sketch pad with you, make a quick sketch like I showed you here on the street corner with that one building I did. I did about 4 or 5 years ago. It might be a little bit longer. I can't remember now exactly when. I drew windows of everything I could think of. And the challenge was to draw 100 window shapes of configurations. Now I used the same configuration. I just used the rectangular format, but I was able to draw over 100 different window shapes and styles and sizes just by thinking about different things to put on it. Okay. Let me bring you back to my overhead again. I'll show you something here. Okay, here's an example here of getting started. Just get the configuration down and just start drawing shapes. And you can start adding shingles to them, or on the side, the shutters. Look at it in terms of what the windows look like. Up here, change the shade, like I showed you before, change the shading. Change the configuration of the panels. Now this one here is interesting. You got this one here has got configuration, the same window with a different configuration. Now here's 3 windows here exactly alike, side by side. And all I did was I changed the shading of the bottom window. I made this one 2/3. I made this 1/3. I made this about a little over a half right here. Different shading of the window pane. Here I drew the one with the shutter halfway open. Here I drew it with the shutter closed. All right, so those are some examples of things just on one sheet of paper. But with a sketchbook, you just draw them, and it can be a good project. That'd be a good project to do, is to take a piece of paper or take your drawing sketchbook with you and take a couple pages, just dedicate them to drawing windows of all sizes. And then when you do a drawing of a building or a sketching of a building or some other thing with a window around, then think about what kind of window you're gonna draw. Not just what you see there, but you may want to change it a little bit, make it more interesting. Okay, well that concludes my demonstration tonight of drawing windows, of how to change them, how to make them look different, and so forth. Hope you enjoyed that. Give me a thumbs up and a like if you enjoyed that. I appreciate that. It helps with my rating. And I'll be back again next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. with Simply Drawing with Everett, with something new. And I'm also on here on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard with Everett's Watercolors, with a watercolor demonstration. Over the weekend, I also do Anyone Can Draw with One Line Only. And if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll be notified of all my live broadcasts and all my videos. So, give me a thumbs up and a like. I appreciate that. You all stay safe and stay warm. And I'll see you on the next